I never thought a single letter could ruin my peace. A $4 $200 fine, that's what it said, printed bold on an official-looking sheet that sat in my mailbox like a threat. It came from a homeowners association I wasn't even part of. From that day, every knock on my door, every car that slowed near my driveway sent a chill through me. I knew something ugly was coming, and that it could cost me everything. My name's Jake Miller. I spent 20 years in the military and another decade shuffling papers under flickering office lights. I'd had enough of orders, rules people telling me how to live. So when I finally found a patch of wild forest outside a town called Willow Creek, I grabbed it with both hands, 70 acres of tangled green and freedom. No HOA, no neighbors watching, just peace, my two boys, and the sound of engines and laughter echoing between the trees. We called it Blake Woods after the old man who sold it to me. Earl Blake, grumpy, quiet, but honest. He'd owned the land forever and swore it was outside any HOA boundary. I double-checked every map, every survey. Everything was clean. I thought I'd found my sanctuary. Then came Brenda Mason. She was the head of the Silver Pines Estates HOA, a neighborhood half a mile from my property. Manicured lawns, mailbox, rules, the kind of place where people measure your grass and call the cops if you park the wrong way. Brenda was their queen bee, a lawyer sharp as a blade voice like she's always in court. It started on a quiet Saturday, the kind that makes you forget the world exists. My boys Eli and Mason were tinkering with their pit bikes while I fixed a chain. The air smelled like pine and damp earth. Then the crunch of gravel. A dozen people in neon safety vests marched up the trail like they were staging an intervention. Phones out, cameras rolling. And there she was, Brenda, front and center, chin up like a judge ready to pass sentence. "Mr. Miller, this is community property. Motor vehicles are not permitted. You're in violation of HOA rules." I laughed, thought she was joking. "This is my land. I'm not in your HOA. You have no authority here." She gave me a smile that felt like a slap. "We'll see about that." They took pictures, muttered about safety hazards, and left. I didn't think much of it until 2 days later when that fine showed up. I remember staring at the letter so long my coffee went cold. It listed unauthorized vehicles, environmental hazard, community disruption. Like I was some kind of criminal. I could have ignored it, but something about her smugness, that quiet confidence, made me uneasy. So I dug deeper. I pulled out maps, deeds, the surveyor's report, everything I could find. And what I discovered made my blood boil. The so-called community trails, the picnic benches, the bird feeders, even the sign that said Mason Forest Park. All of it was on my land. The HOA had been using it for years, maintaining it, spending HOA funds on it, but it was never theirs. They'd been trespassing. I thought once I had proof it'd be simple, but I underestimated Brenda. Within days, rumors spread. I'd threatened HOA members. I was unstable, hostile. I saw the stares at the grocery store, felt the silence at the gas station. My kids were told they weren't welcome at the rec center anymore. Everywhere I turned, someone was watching. For the first time since I bought the place, I started wondering if I'd made a mistake. One night, after putting the boys to bed, I sat by the window looking out into the forest. The wind was whispering through the trees the same way it did the day I fell in love with the place. And I thought, maybe she's right. Maybe I should just let it go. Let them walk the trails, call it theirs, pretend it doesn't matter. But the more I thought, the angrier I got. I'd done everything right, paid in full, filed all the paperwork. I followed the rules, their rules, society's rules, for decades, and now they were punishing me for wanting to be left alone. No, not this time. The next morning I called Earl Blake. We met on his porch, surrounded by stacks of old land records. He laughed when I told him what Brenda was doing. "That woman's been trying to claim my land for years," he said. "Guess she finally found someone stubborn enough to fight her." By noon I had every document signed, sealed, notarized, the title, the maps, the GPS coordinates. Blake Woods was mine beyond dispute. That evening I hammered up. Private property, no trespassing. Signs all along the border, and sent a certified letter to the HOA, remove all property from my land within 10 days or face legal action. Then I installed cameras, motion sensors, uploaded footage to the cloud. And because I wanted everything out in the open, I dropped copies of my evidence at the sheriff's office and at the county office. I even called a friend at the local paper, told him he might want to attend the next HOA meeting. When the day came, the community center was packed. Brenda stood at the podium, voice full of righteous fury, painting me as a danger to the town. People nodded along until I raised my hand. When she finally called on me, I walked up to the front calm as I could manage and laid a folder on the table. Here's the title, here's the county map, and here's the grant paperwork you filed for improvements made on land you don't own. She froze. I could hear the shuffle of papers, the quiet gasps. Your rules, I said, stop at your fence. Step past that and you're trespassing. For a moment the room went dead silent. Brenda's face turned red. A few people looked away. One man muttered, "Wait, so that park isn't ours." I didn't stay for the rest. I just left, heart pounding but lighter somehow. I wish I could say that ended it, but Brenda wasn't done. That night my cameras caught headlights in the woods. Someone trying to take down the bird feeders and benches. License plate crystal clear. I sent the footage straight to the sheriff. By morning, Brenda's little crew got a personal visit. The HOA changed its tone real fast after that. Suddenly it was all apologies and cooperation. Volunteers offering to help with removal. I didn't trust them. Every sign they touched got replaced with a new one this time, quoting state trespassing laws, camera feed links, everything airtight. Then Brenda made one last move. She organized a community unity walk, a big public event meant to paint me as the villain who closed off beloved nature trails. She printed flyers. Local news showed up. So did I. I came armed with photos, maps, and best of all, letters from the grant agencies furious that HOA funds were used to build on private land. I didn't have to say much. The crowd did the rest. Why are our dues going to your husband's company, Brenda? Did you know this wasn't HOA land? Where's the money from those maintenance contracts? Brenda tried to talk, but her voice cracked. The sheriff standing in the back just shrugged and said, "Tradition isn't a legal defense." That was it. Within weeks, the HOA hired an auditor. 3 board members resigned, and Brenda, the Queen of Silver Pines, quietly put her house up for sale. Personal reasons, the notice said. I never saw her again except once through my window blinds watching the moving truck pull away. No words, no goodbye. I didn't celebrate, didn't throw a party, just took my boys out to the trails and fixed the signs they'd ripped down. Painted new ones that read, "Blake Woods Private Land. Access by permission only." The forest was quiet again, but it was a different kind of quiet, heavier earned. Sometimes I catch myself thinking about Brenda. How power can twist someone, make them believe they own more than they do. Then I look at my kids, the sunlight catching in their hair as they ride through the woods, and I remember why I fought. Because peace isn't something you ask permission for. It's something you defend inch by inch until the last echo fades. And that's how I learned that sometimes the only way to live free is to stand your ground.